And now we'll be say, yeah, many be a man. A failure, my town for a man. What you may also, we see how we will be sat. The soon will feel you know about the two galam say, or who I say, yeah, be good to prove. You're slow and so, yeah, need a shame yourself. If you said you can travel by your good. I am no crack to that, depending on one and so Pamwa. With the idea, your dada, the action, dear say, I guess, Lenoir. Papa, yes, a woman paid you my Anna, and Papa, oh. Me wow be munafo and ye ka kwemni ye tudo onkwan de wo bisam ya meniko basieto ayo say am basieto ayo say am basieto ayo say am basieto.
Yes, we are bringing you the legal matters. If you have joined us, share the program for us. Today we are bringing you some interesting stuff that I believe will help a lot of people. Over the course of the week, two particular issues came to mind where I feel that there is a need to cover these two particular areas. Of course, we'll be talking about general immigration and nationality law. It's also important that we talk about the right of a parent, either being a mother or being a father. A parent being denied access to the right of a child, being denied the right to see his own or her own child by the other parent upon a breakup of a relationship. So many reasons lead to a breakup of the relationship. As to whoever is at fault, for me, when it comes to children, it does not matter. What matters is that both parents, I would say by law, and also by nature, it's important that every parent is allowed to be involved in a child's life, one way or the other. And there are so many research, so many statistics that have come up that has concluded that children being brought up by both parents, they don't necessarily have to be together as a parent. People may have their own reasons for separating, then they would then need to make the decision as to whether, how they see the children, as to when and how the children are, co-parenting is very, very important, how the co-parenting is done. But if it is a matter of, you have not treated me right, and therefore I'm going to punish you by using the child as a weapon of a leverage or a method of destruction to stop the other parent from seeing the child, then personally, my personal view is that it's not right, because every parent has got the right to be involved in his in his child's life. The fact that as a parent or as two adults, you cannot be together for whatever reasons that it may be, yes, there is, obviously, there is nothing wrong with that. People may want different things in different stages of their lives. People may have different views. People will simply, some people will do stupidness that will lead to the breakdown of the relationship. But the reality is this: once a child is involved, I think the ball game changes. And as a result, one parent, or as a parent, you have to take into serious consideration the interest of that child, but not your own personal interest. That means sometimes you have to make the hardcore decisions. Sometimes you have to make decisions against your own principles, and therefore, in order to save the child, So for me, it's very, very important that when there is a breakup of the relationship, then the interest of the child must always come first. Many a times, some people are confused, and some people have the notion, they have this idea in their heads that in Western countries, the law belongs to the women. And as a man, no matter how hard you try, you will not succeed. Today, I'm going to go through the process, and I'm going to show and prove to you that that is not always the case. In this country, it's about evidence and proving your wealth and proving that you are a parent. You proving that you are a responsible parent. It's not just about being a parent, but being a responsible parent. So it's very, very important that we look at these. So we're going to be looking at child arrangement order. Yes, we are going to be looking at child arrangement order, and possibly we will also look at what we call specific issue order. Because many times, or some cases that we've come across, whenever there's a breakdown in the relationship, one parent will then turn around to say that, well, I'm not going to allow you to see your child. And when the argument hots up, then one parent will then tell the other parent that you are not the father or you are not the mother of the child. And therefore, I will not allow you to see the child. Sometimes it may be true. Sometimes it may not be true. This is where we talk about using the child as a weapon, where people may be prepared to say hurtful things to the other parent. Imagine that you've been providing for a child, you've been looking after the child for a period of 10 years, 15 years. And for a mother to turn around to say that about the child is not your child. These days, it has become so common that some countries are demanding that when the child is born, automatically there must be a DNA. Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? I don't know. Because these days, you simply never know what you were going to get. The decline of morality, the decline of religion, the decline of self-respect, unfortunately, now is leading to people pushing for DNA to be done on children who are born. Because if someone can open his mouth after 10 years, after 15 years, to tell another parent that the child is not your child, what do you expect people to also think? What do you expect people to also do when the child is born? Now, people are becoming so suspicious, and people are becoming so, I would say, not trusting. Yes, because these days you don't know who to trust. So if a parent turn around and say that, you are not a parent after looking after a child for 7 years, 8 years, it is concerning. And people have the right to ask the hard questions. Because we live in a world that, unfortunately, there's nothing called trust. There's nothing called loyalty. And therefore, people have every right to question. So if someone tells you that you are not the father of a child, then what do? The law makes provisions that you can actually go to family court and ask for specific issue order, where both parents to the child will be forced to carry out a DNA to prove either maternity or paternity, so that everyone can put this to bed. If the child is your child, fair enough. As a parent, you need to play a role. If the child is not your child, as a non-parent, you then have to decide as to whether you want to continue to be involved or not. Or in fact, the other parent can actually stop you, as you are not the biological parent of a child. So we live in a world that everything is mashed up. You know, the old courtesy, the old loyalty, and the old respect for one another and respect for boundaries. We live in the 21st century, it's not there anymore. And as a result, everything is being questioned in this 21st century. And rightly so. So, as a parent, if you need to go through the process, it doesn't matter whether you are a man or a woman. If you feel that, DNA is required to prove maternity and paternity, then of course you go through the family court. You can make an application. If a parent, a mother or a father is stopping you as one of the parents from seeing your child, once again, the law makes provisions for you. So today we'll be looking at that. We will also be looking at a guide to Cifas marker removal. And when we talk about Cifas is Credit Industry Fraud Avoidance System. Cifas, Credit Industry Fraud Avoidance System. Someone is trying to open up a bank account and the bank will not open it. Someone may have a bank account and the bank will close it without any reason or any explanation. Why is it the case? Some people are looking for credit, they are unable to get credit because something is registered against their name. So this is what we call Cifas marking, i.e. your name is marked against the Credit Industry Fraud Avoidance System, Cifas. So today we are going to be looking at it. And if there is a registration against your name, which we call a marker, because your name has been marked as someone who is not trustworthy, someone that you cannot trust to give credit to. As a result, the banks are scared of you because they know that if they allow you to have an account with them, there is a risk, potential risk that you may defraud them. So these are some of the things that is affecting a lot of our people. And Lawyer Darko, I have taken it upon myself to try and enlighten people about these things. I always advise people that it's not a very good idea to allowing people to be depositing money into your account here and there and everywhere. When you ask people, they say that we are doing susu. And when it's my turn, this person is putting money in, that person is putting money in, that person is putting money in. If you are not careful, you could be deemed to be taking part in a fraud. And this could lead to a mark being marked against your name. You have to be very, very careful. I've told a lot of countless people about this. And obviously, you need to watch out, dreadlocks, because the procedure is going to be parliamentary. That's Chris Ugongo say. So for me, it's very, very, very important that you watch your back against fraud and scam. Sometimes people will say that, let me use your account to buy something from Amazon. Be very, very careful, because these are some of the things that the fraudsters are doing. What do? They will use your account to buy stuff from Amazon. And then when the stuff gets delivered, they will then go back to Amazon that they haven't received the item. Meanwhile, the item has been delivered, but they will deny to receive it, and they will get, what do we call it, a refund. By so doing, you think you are smart. But you do it once, you do it twice, you'll be caught. There is no secret in this world, because everything that happens, anything that happens, everything that's about to happen, it has happened before. And no man is a fool. Because the reality is that people see things. People hear things. And therefore, when they see it, Amazon will take steps to make sure that, if it happens today, it does not happen tomorrow. So it's very, very important that we are aware of some of these things. The way people use people to achieve their means, their goals. Like Merton will say, Merton theory of anomy. People will use means to achieve goals, and some people are so nasty and so rotten, they do not care what means that they will use to achieve the end goal. But some people have class and they have morals. They will try and use the acceptable means to achieve their goals. What if the person doesn't have any morality? What about if the person is a gutter, is a scum of the world? Do you think he's got morals? No. He will use any dirty means, any tactics, any manipulation to get to the goal. And therefore, you have to be very, very careful. People that you get around you. Very, very interesting. Very, very important. So for me, if you are going to mingle with fraudsters, then you have to be prepared for the consequences that comes upon you. Because people allow people to use their bank accounts for fraudulent activities. And then when their accounts get closed, they then turn around and say that, I don't know why. I don't know what happened to me. But you are a rational human being. God has provided you with a brain that works, that thinks, that feels. So you have no excuse, no justification to allow people to use your account for fraudulent activity. And then when you are caught, then you pretend to be sorry. You are not. You done it. You have been involved because you wanted to. Nobody put a gun in your head to allow your accounts to be used for fraudulent purposes. Personally, I always assume that everyone is clever. No one is a fool. And therefore, if you allow your account to be used this way, you are a willing participant. So one have to be very, very careful. In this country, we have a crime of joint enterprise. When you are with someone and you encourage someone to commit an offense, or you partake in an immoral conduct by committing a crime, or by allowing someone to commit a crime, you are as guilty as the person who actually did a crime. I remember criminal law books. I can't remember the name of the case, but the case happened in Croydon in the 1950s, 1960s, where a child or a boy with the mental age of about 10, 12 or 10, he was about 25 or so, but his mental age was about 10 or 11, 12, around there. And he went with his friend to rob a place, and they had a gun. And when the homeowner was approaching them, his friend, who did not have any special needs, told the friend with the gun with a mental age of 10 or 12 that give it to him. That's the word that he used. Give it to him. And that they give it to him, what does that mean? Does it mean give the gun to him or shoot him? The person of the mental age of 10 to 12 took it to mean shooting. So he ended up and he shot the person. He killed the person. When the case went to court, yes, joint enterprise. The fact that he said give it to him means that he encouraged him to shoot the person. So you have to be very, very careful. You don't partake in this. And then when you are caught, to say that you don't know why. Of course you know why. No rational being will do something without not thinking about it. We are rational human beings. And anything that we do, we think about it. We cannot do something and say that we didn't think. The only person that doesn't think is someone that has got mental incapacity. Someone that has got special needs. Someone who does not have the ability to think. But as long as you have the ability to think, you cannot tell me you don't know why you move from A to B. Hell no. a thinking and a thought will go through before you move from A to B. Because once you move from A, why did you not go to C but B? The fact that you were able to rationalize it and move from A to B means that you know exactly what you're doing, and you cannot buy any excuse to justify that you didn't know. You know. As long as you have brain to think. So if you give your account to someone to participate in fraudulent activity and you are caught, you cannot tell me that you didn't know. Because if I ask you to give me your bank account, the first question that you will ask as a rational human being, what do you want it for? So we need to be very, very careful. We cannot sit there for people to outsmart us. So for me, it's not about I didn't know. No, someone has outsmarted you. Because the person has used intelligence, his or her intelligence, to be able to persuade you to give your account. And therefore, the person is smarter than you. At the end of the day, you will end up being the fool. So you giving your account to someone doesn't make you clever. It makes you the fool. Yes. Because when it comes to it, it is you who is going to suffer. It's your account that is going to be closed. You are going to be denied credit, not the person who uses the account, because he is not on record. He does not have any relationship with your bank. So if you are in a relationship with your bank and you allow a third party to come in, the third party is not a fool. You are the fool because you have allowed yourself to be used. Once the third party uses you, he does not respect you because you are not smart enough to see that you are being used. That is how it works. Where the third party will not respect you because you are not smart enough to see his intelligence. You have allowed yourself to be used in this way. At the end of the day, who is the fool? The fool is the one who allows his bank account to be used, to be abused. And then you have to face the bank. Your bank account is going to be closed. Your credit is going to be affected. So people really, really need to wake up. This has become a common thing that is happening all the time. And when it happens to people, this is where they approach lawyers. And they start telling stories that I didn't know. I didn't know. When the person told you that I'm going to transfer monies into your account, every £1,000 that I send into your account, I will give you £50. You were happy. You will think that it's easy money to make. But cheap things in the end are very, very expensive. So one have to wake up and one have to be aware of these things. Then we are going to be looking at general grounds for refusal, alleged deception, false information, and innocent mistakes. Someone contacted me. As a lawyer, I made an application to the Home Office, and I have been banned for 10 years. Is there anything that I can do to remove the ban? I asked the person, how did it happen? This ban that you are talking about, how did it occur? And this is where I have a lot of problem with a lot of people, you see. It said that someone submitted an application for me. I said, someone? Who is this someone? Is the person regulated? I don't know. If the person is not regulated, did you actually see the person face to face? Do you know who this person is? If something is being done on your behalf, one have to be very, very careful. If you don't know the person and the person is doing things anyhow, how would you know? I mean, I don't know. How would you know? It's crazy. It's crazy. Something is being done on your behalf and you don't know anything about it. It's very, very, very important that when anyone, if anyone at all, is doing something for you, make sure that you are involved. Because if a document is submitted on your behalf and it turns out to be a fake document, if a representation is being made on your behalf and the information is turned out to be incorrect, whether you know about it or you do not know about it, it is your responsibility. So today we are going to be looking at general grounds for refusal. I will take my time and go through in detail so that you understand the law properly. And when you are making decisions, I beg, consider what we are going to be talking about today. Because so many people have come over to me in the course of the week that they've been banned from making an application to come to the United Kingdom from outside the UK. Many people have submitted applications on their behalf and they don't even know nothing about it. Some of them, we have seen that it is fake certificate of sponsorship. Some of them, fake school certificates. Some of them, fake documentation. Some of them, fake representation. It has led to these people being banned from the United Kingdom. And the question that they are asking, lawyer, is there anything that I can do to remove the ban? It's not an easy thing and it's not an automatic thing. There may be ways and means in which you can apply for them to consider removing the ban, but it's not easy. We will go through and we will look at the Home Office guidelines and see what we can do about that. So let me take this quick commercial break. Let me get water to drink. And then when I come back, I will continue the program. Don't go anywhere. This song is very, very powerful song. And the lyrics is very, very strong. When you hear it, you might think, what on earth is this? But never judge a book by its cover. And be very careful, to judge. Let's listen to the tune, and then when we come back, we continue.
menya be mount. And now we'll be say, yeah, menya be a mount. A failure, my time for a mount. What you know, so we see how we go to be sat. As soon as we feel no about the tomb, Galam say, or was here, yeah, be to grow. You're slow, and so yeah, need a shame yourself. If you said you can come by your good. I know crack to that, depending on one and so Pamwa, with the idea, your dada, the action, dear say, I didn't send one. Quack, yes, a woman paid you my Anna, and papa, oh. Me wa obe munafo ye ka kwemu ni yetudo mo onkwan de ubi sami aminiko basiato basiato basiato
Some people think that you don't bend before you sleep, but you have to bend before you can catch some sleep. That is a fact of life. So now, we're talking about the topic is basically being responsible parent, and being responsible means that for me, maybe the exception will be where a parent is an abusive parent, and therefore his involvement will do more damage than good. And as a result, people may feel that, you know, he should not be involved in the child's life. Very, very important. But the reality is that statistics shows that children being brought up by both parents, it put the children in a very, very advantageous position. Some people do not realize this. Someone will say that you are better off without the other parent. In some cases, in some very limited cases, that may well be the case. But in all cases, all things being equal, ceteris paribus, I think it's important that both parents are involved in a child's life, regardless of what. Parents may have their differences, but do not deny a father or a mother from being involved in his or a child's life, because it is natural for a child to expect both parents to be there. Now, let's look at people's experiences.
Everybody pays. It's not the breakup that breaks the kids. It's losing their father. He didn't leave. He was forced out by lies, by courts, by control. He showed up, he provided, he stayed, but somehow that still wasn't enough. Good dads lose everything. Their kids, their peace, their purpose. The system rewards conflict, not truth, and the man who stays calm gets punished. But dad isn't replaceable. He brings structure, strength, and sacrifice. Only a man can raise a man. To the dads still fighting, don't stop. To the women using kids as weapons, stop. To the system turning fathers into visitors, fix it. Because when a good dad is pushed out, the damage lasts for generations.
Okay, as you can see, there's another.
If a child has a father, they don't live in poverty. If a child has a father, they don't have as much mental illness and brokenness. If a child has a father, they don't commit as many crimes. How about if we solved all of our freaking problems by getting to the root of the problem and going back to the Word of God and starting with the men, because God made us to be the leaders.
I got the cabbage.
Well, this is from a man's perspective.
Live in poverty. If a child has a father, they don't have as much mental illness and brokenness. If a child has a father, they don't commit as many crimes. How about if we solved all of our freaking problems by getting to the root of the problem and going back to the Word of God and starting with the men, because God made us to be the leaders. If a child has a father, they don't live in poverty. If a child has a father, they don't have as much mental illness and brokenness. If a child has a father, they don't commit as many crimes. How about if we solved all of our freaking problems by getting to the root of the problem and going back to the Word of God and starting with the men, because God made us to be the leaders. If a child has a...
Okay, so this is one view. So he is talking from a man's point of view. If a child has a father, you know, some of the problems that we can avoid. The same thing also happens if a child has a mother, then some of these problems can also be fixed. He is talking from a man's point of view. That's the reason why he's talking like if a child has a father. But of course, if a child also has a mother, then the same principles will also apply. So in short, all that we are trying to say is it's important that you have both parents in a child's life. Relationship can break, fair enough, but make sure that the relationship between a child and a parent doesn't break, and they have to be there for them. Now, what if a woman or a man playing stubborn and is determined to say that, no, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to do that, and they are trying to be difficult? What is it that you can do? Okay, if you are watching me, if you are listening, there is something that you can do. This country, when it comes to child, the law is 50-50. Whether you are married to the child's mother or you are married to the child's father, as long as your name is on the BF certificate, you have what we call parental responsibility. That means you have the right, because you are responsible for the child, and therefore you have the right to be involved in that child's life, to be making decisions in that child's life. And how do you do this? You do this by, one, speaking to the child's mother about arrangement. When we talk about arrangement, this country, everyone has got their own lives. And therefore, you cannot simply show up whenever it's convenient for you, especially if the child is living with one parent. The parent that doesn't live with the child, you also have to respect each other's space. And therefore, if you are going to see your child, you then have to say that, you know what, is it okay to come and see my child at this time, at this date? So that respectfully, you do it that way. Respectfully, you do it that way. But if you don't do it that way, this is where it leads to problems in some cases, because there is no respect for boundaries. And when you don't respect boundaries, that is where everything goes to the gutters, because it brings the nastiness in humanity where there are no boundaries. So you need to respect each other's boundaries. Say you are respecting each other's boundaries, but still things are not happening, things are not working. What do? According to the rules and the procedures of the family code, the absent parent or the non-living parent will have to try what we call mediation through family mediators to see whether they can see the parties and come to an arrangement, so that the parties can then do what? Can then arrange as to when the child should be made available for each of the parents. But the reality is that most of the time, one parent will become so stubborn that they will not listen to any advice from anybody. They are set on the course of destruction. And therefore, what will they do? They will then do what? They will simply not go for mediation. When it happens like that, then the mediator will give the parent who consulted the mediator a certificate that you have attempted mediation and it has failed. And on that basis, you can proceed to court. Now, this is the process. Once you go to court, you complete a form called C100. And the C100 is an application for child arrangement order. So normally, they will call it CAO, child arrangement order. And within the child arrangement order application, you can also request for what they call specific issue order. So if you have any specific issue, then of course you could do what? You could make an application for the court to address a specific issue. So if you are a parent, for example, and you have just been told that you are not the mother or the father of the child, and at all material times, you have been the mother or the father of the child, and you believe that you are the mother or the father of the child, then of course, once you are making an application for child arrangement order, you can also make an application for a specific issue order. Oh yes. So the specific issue order is to ask the court for a DNA to be conducted. For a DNA to be conducted to establish both the maternity and paternity of that child. At the same time, you will also make an application for what we call specific issue order, where the court will order for a DNA to be carried out. Now, once you put in an application to the family court for child arrangement order, the court will then do what? The court will then, if you like, set a date for first dispute resolution hearing, where the court will fill the case. And the court will then order Kafka's report, Section 7 report. The court officer will visit both parents and, if possible, the child, and basically write a report as to the family structure, the arrangement that is in place, and proposal what, according to the case officer, will be in the best interest of the child, according to the Children's Act of 1989. Because any decision concerning children is not about the parent, but it's about what will be in the best interest of the child. So you do that, and you make such an application. And then they will do the report and come back with their own recommendation, based on, the information that they will gather. There will be a first dispute resolution hearing. Sometimes, if the parties are able to agree something, the case ends there. Sometimes they are not able to agree, the case move on to dispute resolution hearing. So sometimes it can go on 2, 3, 4 hearings before a judgment is made. So this is just a summary of the process. Whether it is worth it going through this process, or whether the parties can come to their own informal arrangement. I always advise people, try informal arrangement. If it works, it saves you money, it saves you time. Because if you get a lawyer to get involved in such cases, the lawyer is going to charge accordingly. So the question that I ask myself, why don't you save your money by trying to resolve it? And when it doesn't work, you come and see a lawyer for the lawyer to take you through the process and the case. But it costs. And therefore, we also have to be prepared for that. See, the song is very nice. It's very, 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 very nice song. No doubt about that. Because if you listen to the lyrics, it's very, very powerful. Because sometimes you help people, but they don't see it as help. because they want you to do everything for them. But it doesn't work like that. When someone is helping you, you also have to help yourself, because every help or everyone has got limitations. So for example, you come and see Lawyer Darko, and I tell you that do A, do B, do C. Once you've done that, come and see me, I'll be able to help you. And you turn around and you're telling people that, oh, when I went to see the lawyer didn't help me. Why? Because the lawyer didn't go and chat a woman up for you to marry the person. Why? Because the lawyer did not go and chat a woman up for you to date the person and have a child, to have papers. Why? Because the lawyer did not basically put his own certificate online for you, and therefore you think the lawyer has not done anything. The question that I ask is that, will you do that for anyone, including even your own brother or sister? There are limitations to what one can do to help another person. And therefore, if you don't understand these simple principles, then you are kwasiato. You know, it's very, very simple as that. Because everyone has got limitations, and so there are certain lines that you don't expect someone to cross because of your own selfish greed. No. It doesn't work like that. So before you ask someone anything, ask the person what the person can do to help you, and be realistic. Can this person do this for me? Before you ask. If it looks like the person cannot, don't go and put the person in a tight corner, because the person won't do it. A man of principle will not do it. So that's how it works. So basically, that is how it works. We need to understand that there are limitations. There are certain lines that you don't cross, because once you cross it, it becomes a curse, and that you will live with for the rest of your life. So that is the reason why the guy has said so much stuff in the song. And if you listen carefully, everything that he has said is on point. Yeah. So let's look at a guide to Cifas marker removal. Cifas marker explained. Like I explained, the Cifas stands for Credit Industry Fraud Avoidance System, and it's a non-profit fraud prevention membership organization that manages an extensive database containing details of fraudulent conduct in the United Kingdom. And the aim of Cifas is to reduce fraud and crime. The members of Cifas come from various sectors, and it include the vast majority of financial institutions who use it to report and access data about potential fraud, and customers who represent an unacceptable risk to business. So if you allow your accounts to be like a deposit shop, and people are depositing money from left, right, center, middle, everywhere, then of course you could be perceived as unacceptable risk to financial institutions, to businesses. So therefore, when we talk about Cifas marker, what do we mean by that? Cifas markers, otherwise known as bank fraud markers, happen when a financial institution, such as the banks, insurance company, a loan company, makes an adverse judgment against you or your business. When we say adverse judgment, that means something negative is written against you. So for example, if you are owing money and you don't want to pay because you think you are clever, these are some of the consequences, unintended consequences that can befall you. So we need to be very, very careful. You may get away today, but tomorrow will be your judgment day. Like I said, there is nothing called secret in this earth. Because whatever you try to hide, believe in me, it will come to light. definitely, there is nothing called secret. And I always say this, secret is only something that is known to you and also to your God. As long as there is a third party, it's no longer a secret. Because we have something called divine justice or karma. It will haunt your conscience so much so that one day you will confess. That's how it is. It's called divine justice. It comes naturally. You know, and it will hit you so hard that there will be no way out. That is how the world works. So karma can be a bad thing. You owe him money, you borrowed money, you told them they're going to pay the money, and you are using deception, deceit, not to pay the money. You owe someone money, you know that you owe the person money, but you think you are so clever, you don't want to pay. And these people will register adverse judgment against your name. So you'll be sitting there, you are looking for credit, you are not getting it. You'll be sitting there, you are opening a bank account, and you know, it's not happening. Your bank account is closed, you are not getting it. So be very, very careful. Don't listen to people. People say, oh, but it stays on your credit record for 2 years and they get wiped off. Be very, very careful. Because you never know when the need may arise. Now, let's go. How long does Cifas marker last on your record? Normally, it lasts for 6 years, during which time you will be affected by potential impact. And those potential impacts, I'm going to go through one by one. Then the next question, therefore, is how do I know that there is adverse judgment registered against my name? Say my name, say my name. How do I know there is an adverse judgment registered against my name? What you could do is that you could actually make an application under subject access request. And request from Cifas themselves that you want to see a record that they hold about you. Because the financial institution that may place adverse judgment against you are under no obligation whatsoever to tell you that that is what they've done. And therefore, normally, they don't tell you. Before you know your bank account is closed, before you know you are not getting credit, before you know your credit card are canceling their agreement with you, and then you start thinking, hold on, what's going on? And therefore, all that you can do is to do an application, subject access request application to Cifas to get a report. And once you get a report, you will see the name of the organization that has registered an adverse interest against you. And therefore, the question is there anything that you can do about that? And if there is, what will be the impact on you whilst that registration is still against your name? Having Cifas marker against you can have several negative impacts, including the most common impact is that you will struggle to get credit accepted, such as mortgage, car finance, overdraft, or insurance product. Your application will likely to go through extra checks, and you may still be denied. That is number one. Number two, if financial institutions become concerned about activities on any of your accounts, they may decide to close your accounts, even if those particular concerns are not affected. Number 3, a marker may also affect your application for student loans through the student loans company, which is a member of Cifas. You didn't know that, did you? The evil that men do will always leave after them. Something that you know you should not be doing in secret, which you cannot do in the light, you must not do it. It's a law of karma and the law of principles, the law of natural justice. You think that you are going to take a loan from a company you will not pay. You, the same person, want to go to university to study and take another loan. Today, you must understand that the student loan company is a member of Cifas, and therefore, any student loan application that you make, if adverse judgment is registered against your name by any financial institution, then you could be affected by this. Very, very important. If you are employed in the financial services sector, a Cifas marker could negatively impact your career or result in your future job applications being rejected. If you intend to work within the financial industry and you have a Cifas marker, be very, very careful. If a business directors have markers against them, the company may be refused loans or other forms of credit. You must also bear this in mind. The list, or what I have stated, this is just an example of how these markers may affect you. The question therefore is, can you still have a bank account with a Cifas marker? The likely answer will be no. Because having the fraud marker against you can result in accounts being closed, and it make it very, very tricky to open a new bank account. This is because a marker typically suggests that you've been a victim or perpetrator of fraud, which makes you a more risky customer in the eyes of the bank. Different banks may have different policies, but most of the banks will see you as a risk. And if you are a risk, why would they allow someone who is risky to be in their business? It's as simple as that. So why do Cifas markers make it harder to get credit? A lot of credit applications are automatically checked. For example, when you are applying for a store card, car finance, or even a personal loan, if a Cifas marker is filed against you, this will automatically process, this automatic process cannot go ahead, and your application will have to be subjected to further checks. Now, further, financial institutions may be more reluctant to lend to those with Cifas marker because of their previous history. The question therefore is, are there different types of markers? Yes, there are different types of markers, and I'm going to run through some of them to you. The first one is called the protective registration. And this is a marker that you can pay for directly to Cifas or a third-party provider if you believe you have been a victim of fraud. It lasts for 2 years. You have victim of impersonation. This is a marker filed by a lender for your protection if you have been a victim of identity fraud. It lasts for 13 months. First-party fraud. This can be filed when there is no intent to repay promised future repayment for exchanging goods and or services. It can last up to 6 years. Facility takeover. This marker is filed when a bank is taken over and used for unauthorized transactions lasting for up to 6 years. Misuse of facility. This occurs when an account is obtained with the intent to use it for fraud. It lasts for 6 years. Asset conversion. This marker can be filed when an individual sells goods that they do not own. For example, a car under a hire purchase, conditional sale, contract hire, leasing, or rental agreement. It lasts on your file for up to 6 years. Application fraud. This happens when an application for credit is made using an individual's real name, but false details such as employment, salary, address, or falsified documents. It can last up to 6 years. Insurance claims fraud. When incorrect information is provided when seeking a monetary insurance claim. This may be filed lasting for up to 6 years. The question therefore is, can I remove my Cifas, credit industry authorization system? Can you remove it when one is filed against your name? And if you can, how do you go about it? And Penny say, and you ma deno ana yesa bobiem. Sa so na amangwa deno ana abai de eda asie. Na empanifo so sa kan sem bi say, ensuo fe emunsuo na bi ana yesa ede no amunam. Na abrewa wo hoyi uhuna o se ne honye den. Na eto de eden a abatwe a obetimi dia wo de owo bia ode bewo. Ye take a quick break. Ye ba baka na ya sa to aso. Mami Evelyn akosi adua baby a wano pay bia me chiachia o. Lo ya daku ana ede esempai ebrebu. Ye take a quick commercial break. Na ye ba ye sa di dwumadie no ato aso. Mo hwe nyina ye damase mo nhye program no ema adofo nyina. Anwum yi from Ochiami Kofi wato the title ne se kwasiato. Se kase kwasiato a eno ne sen. Kwasiato eni obi a onyiaye. Okwasiato eni obi a woboa na okogina bebi se womboa no. Okwasiato ana woboa no na wono aduane ma na osase tishe menum. No a ono aye edwa wokodiye ene aduane ano aye nyina na anya nefe. Wano ama na wie no peso sa to hye nenum ense na ohun so aye bibia ma no. Sa nipa ne fe ne se okwasiato enti aya ye mfantu ye hofo. Ye fa enyumentu aso na ye babaka ya sa to aso bi.
When you find in a new shiny bay, and see what you Menya be man, and now we beside ya menya be a man. A fadia my town for a man, what you may also, we seek our woman to be sat. The soon will feel the end of our to Galam say or Boasia, ya be hit to grow. You're slow and so ya need a shame yourself if you said you can travel by able to. I am no crack for that, depending on one and so Pamwa, with the idea of your dada, dear child, dear saying at this Renoir. Papa, yes, a woman paid you my Anna, and Papa, oh. Me wow be munafo enye ka kwem ni yetulo onkwan de wo bisami ameni pro basiato basiato basiato
Yes, also kwa siato yanko tu ayenda so bi esi na to for me ma konkodo onim kwan kura ofasisi atofo no sana etie no mo ani enkobri obi na ewiase wo ho a wankasa bo ho boy bo ho ban ana se bo ho modern. Yes, no mo ani enkobri obi abrabo na ye bo no ye na ye ntimi nye peda ana menye wadwene se ubetimi aye obi because yakopon wo kwan ofa so bo obi a enti no se wa fasa adwene na nche otim na kasa wa mo bra na bibia you be faulter only kwasia to there is no difference sebe okwasia ana say eye no enyamea enti no abraba no oba wankasa koso na bo bra you know nya certain bia be Mr Depression ubeye depress sana etie because you are not prepared to say wankasa no ubekoto ana wada ubese tem bia no bi de enkoto na woda. It doesn't work like that. Hard work pays. If we are say me dey future be mo bia ne say jero ne pesca sika enyuma sika eye duma ne kan o sika se eye fin kra na da border so a bo ho modern na ye adwuma denden ne pesca ni bi because oyo hene sanetie. Enti how do you remove Cifas marker? Mr. PC Churchill, Michael Aqua, long time. How are you doing? I hope say you are doing great. You are doing well. Mr. Owusi Yeboa, baby I will be a Churchill. Or Fabia Koto, yes, your church will be a movie. Friends and silent listeners, Ninas, your church. Ayana and Kofoko Shakona, no more shabby air coso, Nuina, your church. So, Cifas, how do you remove it? Let's look at this. The first step in removing Cifas marker is firstly to obtain a report from Cifas and the subject access request, detailing the information about your marker. Because once you get a report, the report will show you what has been alleged against you and by whom. You know, the job that we do, you see, is someone will say is step-by-step approach. That is the work of a lawyer. One thing about lawyers is this: a lawyer will not ask you a question that he doesn't know the answer. That one, put it in your mind. If you are dealing with a lawyer, any question that the lawyer asks you, believe in me, he knows the answer. That is what lawyers are trained to do. A lawyer will not ask you a question that he does not anticipate the answer. Because as a lawyer, if you are going to ask a question and you don't anticipate the answer, or you don't know the answer, believe in me, you cannot be a good lawyer. We are able to project. We are able to forecast. We see things before they happen. We are like seers. We are like prophets when it comes to legality. It's for that reason that we can look at a case and say this case is got good prospect. You are likely to win this case. Do not worry about that. And I will come this to pass. Just 2 days ago, I did a case for a Nigerian. In fact, he was in this country. When he came to see me, by looking at everything, I said, no, you need to go back home to apply to come back in. He said, how? I'm concerned. What about if I go and I don't come back, Oga? What do you go do? I said, oh, my Niger, no wahala. You are dealing with lawyer Darko. I see things before they happens. I make predictions before they happens. And everything that I say, it come to pass, whether good or bad. Those who have ears, listen, and they take heed, and they prevent certain things from happening. But those who do not listen, they live with regret, a life of regret. So I said, my brother, let me tell you this. You going back to Murtala Airport, my reputation is on the line. Do you think that I will trade my reputation for peanuts? No way. My brother, let me assess your case. And if it's right to go, believe in me, you will go and you will come back. So he went, application went in. We did express service, 30 days they meant to make a decision. So because of the bank holiday that came in and so forth, there was about 2 days delay. He started panicking. I said, Oga, don't worry. It's a small, over. But I know that you'll be fine. And then on Thursday, he called me and said, is there any way that my application can be refused? And I said, yes, it's possible. But we have done everything that we can to avoid that from happening. So do not worry. So I got up in the morning, on a Friday morning, about 5 o'clock. He sent an email that maybe we should change the home office up. And I said, I agree. As soon as I got to the office, an email sent to the home office. That it's been more than 30 days. He's paid for the service. He's not receiving the service. What is going on? Within an hour or two, straight up, we got a decision. The application has been granted. He could not believe it. So for me, it's step-by-step approach. Sometimes, things happens and it makes things difficult. But for me, I'm always advise people look for solutions. Sometimes home office can frustrate you. No matter what you do, they can come up with any excuse to justify refusal. And especially if you don't have the right of appeal. It makes it even more difficult. And now you are looking at administrative review. Some cases are there for 1.5 years. We are still waiting. It's crazy. So what can you say? It's one of those. So, one, you need to find out who has registered the adverse interest against your name. And then once you find out, it will tell you, the name of the organization, and also the name of the institution, and also why they have registered it against your name. And once you know that, then you can then challenge it. You see, you can then challenge it to the financial institution direct. You will likely to have proof why the marker should be removed. Simply stating that it has been unfairly filed is not enough. So if, for example, they have put a marker against your name and you have proof that it's wrong, then of course you can challenge it. The financial institution, once you challenge it, you have 14 days basically to respond, whether they agree or not. If they agree and they have to remove it, they will remove it straight away. If they refuse to remove it, you can then lodge a complaint to the Financial Ombudsman Services for the banks as to why, the marker is wrongly issued against your name. In some cases, you may be able to challenge it by way of judicial review. So that is something that I think a lot of people have to be aware of. There are 2 other similar databases in the UK, and they hold very limited information. One of them is called Synetech Solutions and National Hunter. Both of these databases can supply data to financial institutions and judge whether the individual's status is clear. So basically, this is what you need to be aware of. If you are allowing people to be depositing monies into your account, be very, very careful. You simply never know how you could be marked and how this can also affect you. So be very, very careful about this. The last area that I will talk about will be general grounds of refusal. People giving false hope, false information about the fact that they could make application from the United Kingdom. And I tell people this all the time. You need to look at general grounds of refusal. Why would they refuse your application? And if you know your circumstances is such that if you do an application, it's going to be refused, then you need to look for alternative. So we need to be conscious of this, because almost every week I get people coming to me saying that, oh, but someone said you can do this, someone said you can do that. And for me, I tell people straight, it's not true. Do not listen to these people, because they will say anything to convince you that it can be done, whilst they know that it cannot be done. So for my postmortem, so me kind what you see when you trade and you know, once again, I mean so and family num so ba could be na jack. You enter the last segment in the Sonafi, you me a matro for an interim. Are you here, baby?
What's your talk? What's your talk? What's your talk? What's your talk? I'm a boy, I'm out of no. I see them here, I feel you with the head. Baby, oh, emergency. Uncle, baby, I don't need it. I'm what I'm Mexicano. Ready, Bobby, and Bella. Also, want to fear. Now, what do you mean, Wonder? Mammy Kakra, and then came on your bra. I have a and now we'll be say, many be a man. A failure, my time for a man. What you may also, we see how we go to be sat. As soon as we know about the Galam say, or who I say, yeah, be here to grow. You're slow, and so yeah, near shame yourself. If you said you can travel by able to feel it good. I am a crack on that, depending on one and so Pamwa. With the idea, your dada, the action, dear saying at this Renoir. Papa, yes, I won't pay you my Anna, and oh. Me wa obe mu na fo aye ka kwan mu ni ye tudo mo onkwan de wo sami amini ko basiato basiato basiato
koto ayenda sa pepe general grounds for refusal. Sometimes you hear people saying that, oh, obi visa wu na watine kromu na wa ya application or worry yen de dia man no na ye. Enough. Ya tiabre. Be very, very, very careful. The reality is that you know, there is a limitation. What can be done, what cannot be done. So let's have a look at this. This is called the guidance to caseworkers when it comes to immigration and nationality. As you can see, it's got the gov.uk at the top of it. I'm doing that for you to know, to see that anything and everything that I say, I don't just come and sit here and just start talking from a vacuum. Everything that I say, I can back it up. You see, I'm the type of person that before I say anything, I have something to back it up, something to support it. I will simply not just talk for talking's sake. Yes, I will simply not talk for talking's sake. Anything that I ask, anything that I say, believe in me, I'll be able to defend it. If I can't defend it, I will not talk about it. Even if it's so obvious, even if I say it, I will be quiet. But before I open my mouth and talk, me might say differently. There is no way. I say me de manu eka se meto boabo e wa bra me nan ensi bo so. Na da ko me sekan ano enye na mo kra no. Na enti se kontumra me be twitwa. Enti de be kan bia no ye wonyina so ane e de kasa. Na sebe de yam kasa asem we. To become a lawyer no. Ese wa dwunim edo, ese wa dwunim ubie. I was saying about some guidelines or some guidance. You are able to anticipate, you are able to work out people's brain, people's mind, where they are going, where they are coming from. As soon as they open their mouth, you know exactly what they are implying. So, as a lawyer, you are trained to question everything. Before someone says something, you ask yourself, why are you telling me this? What impact are you trying to have on me? And how are you trying to persuade my thinking? That is how the lawyer's brain works. So anything that you say to a lawyer, the lawyer questions it. Because we are naturally born suspicious. Every lawyer is a suspicious person. Because we are inquisitive and we are suspicious. Everything we will read into it. It's the nature of our work. It's the nature of our job. It's the nature of our training. So if sometimes maybe we are asking too many questions, it's not our fault. We are built that way. And therefore, for me, when people come to me and they say, oh, Madam Phoebe, no any paper will chrome, and so no, wait me, worry, we're gonna worry, I'm here the paper man on the basis of marriage. Paragraph 9 of the immigration rules. And near my home office for a general so a refusal and for application. And I say, a near I was say, original so a refusal and for application. Anybody do whom come. Now we have something called the discretionary grounds and we have something called the mandatory grounds. So we have the grounds for refusal. And we have something called the suitability grounds and we have something called the eligibility grounds. The suitability grounds mainly to deal with the person's character, conduct, and association in the United Kingdom. And nunti na yesisa odu humbo bia for humbo bia sabi ni huni asem. Odu hukobo koshini, odu hukobo kromfo, odu hukobo obia okita immoral conduct. Ogodini bonia or the barbecam. In so you're very careful. One shey na fe no two baby you don't na akwakofa asemabra. It's you're very, very careful. You know, so if, for example, someone has got a criminal record, then the person would then be basically due an application to be refused. If your character is deemed not to be conducive to public good, once again, you are going to face it. You make an application, it will be refused. If you have submitted false representation, false documentation, once again, you are in trouble. Breach of immigration laws or immigration rules. Paragraph 2, paragraph 981. Now listen to this. This is where I am bringing it to people's attention over and over and over. And I will keep preaching. Previous breach of immigration laws grounds. If you make an application for entry clearance or permission to enter, such application must be refused if the applicant has previously breached immigration laws and the application is for entry clearance or permission to enter and it was made within the relevant time period. Some people are banned from the United Kingdom for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. So depending on which one affects you. So that's what they are talking about. Also, paragraph 9, it says that if you have overstayed your visa, then of course, you too, when you make an application to vary your leave, it should be what? It should be basically it should be refused if you have overstayed your visa. And therefore, if you have overstayed your visa and the exceptions does not apply, and you make application within the United Kingdom, the chances are that the application will be refused under the immigration rules. However, under certain circumstances, limited circumstances, your application may be successful, not within the rules, but outside of the rules. This is where we need to pay attention. So if you are indefinite leave to come up and you are going to apply and you go and do the wrong application, your application may be rejected or may be refused. So we need to be very, very careful and we need to pay attention to this. It's very, very important. All right. So now let's look at the use of deception, the use of fraud, the use of false information and innocent mistakes. Now, when it comes to deception, under paragraph 971, an entry clearance officer or the Home Office official may refuse an application where false representation, information, documents have been provided. Paragraph 971 states that an application may be refused where in relation to the application or in order to obtain documents from the Secretary of State or a third party provided in support of the application, false representation are made or false documents or false information submitted, whether or not relevant to the application and whether or not to the applicant's knowledge, or relevant facts are not disclosed. So, as long as an application is submitted, they don't care. Who submitted it, it does not matter. So the duty is on you to make sure that you go to the right people. If you go to fake people to submit your application and they submit fake documents, it's on you, not on me, not on them. It's on you. So if you want to go and pay for cheap services from somewhere that you are taking risk, the possibility of 10-year mandatory ban, that is up to you. But when it happens, don't try and claim that you don't know anything about it. Because once it's submitted on your behalf, you are responsible for it. It's something that we must understand. It's something that we got to understand. That once it's done on your behalf, you are as guilty as the person who submitted it, and there is no way out for you. Now, the question therefore is, when a document is submitted or when information is submitted, is it deliberate or is by mistake? If you make a statement and the statement is a mistake, it's an excuse in law. But if you submit false documentation, that when you are caught, it's not easy to be able to convince the Home Office that the document is not false. Of course, there has been cases that we've done one recently that someone provided a birth certificate. Home Office said that we have received a document verification report that shows that the birth certificate that you have provided is fake. This is what they said. We went on an appeal. This case, we've been fighting this case from 2019. And thank God, the visa has been issued in 2025. 6 years. Some lawyers would have said that I've had enough. I can't fight this case no more. But one thing about me, I never give up. Once I start something, believe in me, I will finish it. Yes, once I start something, I will finish it. And I will never stop investigating until I get to the bottom of it. This case, we fought head on shoulders, tooth and nail, to make sure that this person has got justice. And in the end, we're able to get justice. Notwithstanding the fact that the Home Office claimed that they have received document verification report from the Ghanaian authorities stating that the document was false. The document wasn't false. Whoever gave that information, I don't know. The question that the judge was asking was that it's not enough, the report that has been obtained, because the person who wrote the report could not bring down his credentials. And therefore, we won the case, even though the client was accused of providing false information, false documentation, and deception. We had no choice but to fight the case. If not, there would have been a ban. So I'm very, very happy for this gentleman and his son, and he knows exactly what I'm talking about. Due to data protection, I cannot really say too much in that respect. But if you know, you know. So when Home Office said that we got a document verification report, request for a copy, ask for one, and then you can then examine it and if possible challenge it, because sometimes not all that glitters is gold. I got a story never been told. Now you see the light. You see, so it's very, very important that you just don't take people's words for it. When someone says something, question it. When I say something, question it, because if you question things, believe in me, some of this foolishness will not come on your table. But if you just become gullible and you just take what people say, people will always deceive you, people will always use you, and people will always dump you. That is how it works. So you have to be very, very careful. That for me, be a principled man, also make sure that you are doing the right thing. It's very, very important, because if you do the right thing, you can walk in the dark with no fears. But if you do the wrong stuff, all the time you're expecting attack. You're expecting people to come for you because you don't do the right stuff and your head is messed up and it's full of evil thinking and evil thoughts. And therefore, everything that you do in life, most times, you don't succeed. But go with a clean heart, clean head, one love, one heart, one destiny. Peace and love for all mankind. I will bring the program to an end today, and I'm going to activate the telephone lines. If you have any question, by all means, you can call in and ask any question that you may want to ask. Hey, greetings to you, Otulu Pepe. I greet you in the mighty name of Yahweh. That's the way it is. We are going to activate the telephone lines. And once again, the song is sweet. Let's play it again. Mr. PC at church, baby, I will be yes, everything you have your number. No, your Biamatrophone to me. The number is 07538 969589. We soldier on, that is live. Yes. Call us. If you have any question, this is the time to call. Once we finish the program, we're done. You will not answer any phone call. Yes. So this is your time. Yankotoya now. And say you better didi. Yes. Enipa edina no ehira nipa no etu hu ya na wo so nkwaya de pa ema enipa emfa na no ehira wa na yankwa your first caller. Hello. Good morning to you, good afternoon to you. Nampacho di say that say friend.
You do see kakra.
Fedi so de bobi ani yanko. Edi de obi awobi. Usu di de Humpty Dumpty a me ya de ko me ya de ko challenge.
I would say a question I'm funny out there.
So
it's a friend saying me young Kubina Oba and say careful bina Oba and omo sponsors no omo say omo review ko omo ade omo
license.
Obi ka jere say onko home office na omo nkomo amo debe ntino ye gene 3 years no na omo man 2 years. O say last week o ha no mo fe no okoya omo say onko no krum na the krum boni bi eni ho nti onko. Na me feel say is there any way
asem na kan mentiasi.
Unse omo bae no. Unse omo bae no okura 3 years.
Okita 3 years skilled work visa. Okay.
That's omo sponsor na din bae no revoke omo license no. Nto wanya adwuma omo ama omo adwuma. Nto no na din na mu a. Na o se obi ka che ne say omo ko hu lawyer bi no omo betima akofikesi omo friends stay bia omo de bama omo betima ye adwuma a obi a entata omo nti okoye no na fikesi informa no 2 years so fa ko pay adwuma ye nti o ha na fi akwese okusiki asalam
afena wo kasa
akwese okusiki asalam nti no o say last week o ha na from say omra okoye omo say onko fie onko omo chuku manko no so oboka na bae no say onko ye adwuma no fantu aka no nti no the right to her and I may be say na we be no one bit by because another one so kwai no almost some man 3,000 no so onje because oboka no buy into onje 3,000 no so no so almost some betre no to no minim say bia if anywhere you on bit my bomb
you see the problem is this Sisiano Oma Babaye illegal and I say Obabaye overstayer. And therefore once you become overstayer now, apart from say Abia, what will buy Kurumua, and I say we try 20 years with Kurumua, and I said there are exceptional circumstances. Abia and Tokobia si Kurumu intimate and Kohonomo. Then you'll be able to make an application from within. Apart from that, unfortunately, there is nothing that can be done. Because asylum no can apply in the Quran. And you're wrong from the first place. Because country which is a Ghana, a safe country. Now small working. This is not the first time I'm at it. Obi be whom with the same thing I'm catching some answer. Asylum now can apply. Yeah, famo. Ain't it to action? Asylum no. What the asylum kotuma? E be take time kakra. But the outcome no is inevitable. Se asylum nimpo edem ananko se nya sponsorship a e wona na esa ka lawyer no advice no e se asylum ni dem no kopa another sponsorship unya nanko wasa ya another application to switch
sponsorship no 12,000 back when unya last one to 9,000 no be you onya bi papa bia
what's the sponsorship wey dey nyiska e free
also give 12,000. That's what we are saying 9,000.
Uncle Jirisika illegal. Last week, yes, Sister Bako, it was Scotland. Obekase Scotland today, Ejuma Wohopa, Omope Harris. Mind Jobs Scotland, on Google, na on share. Say a bit near Payamana. She said the problem with women is about being illegal and when a man are difficult kakra to be able to switch. But immigration they never say never because Mimi Mubia no a nurse back in 2013, 2014. Me visa we but when your sponsorship as a nurse, you put it in mitigation. How much to make granted the visa name surprisingly. And you know, like I say, Omo de no hwehwe. So timi wo ba okro mu ade a obit na ne ba no onkrata obit me gina ne ba so de agbe.
Yes, see a pressure transfer is on kwe. I was with the 9 months to 9 months. Lawyer.
Unfortunately, not much that you can do or I can do. Enkrata 7 day uninkrata by operation of the law no. You have to leave the country. They don't need to tell you. And by default, from the very day that your visa expires, Emrani si free crew mwako. Ada some beka chira na so mon kan chira. That is the law. But Oma catch so free crew mwako. Say no no ko omodo so. And so no, it be to be finding ways and means to be able to sort themselves out. And kakra meeting aka afa ho no. Unfortunately, care work no. Akwese sisi akwye case bi ababetu kurumu a che se amanfo tesopa. So that is unfortunately.
Okay, Scotland, you know, is there any number and any website with my checking?
My Jobs Scotland. On Google My Jobs Scotland, the local website or Niger or Nini Affin, no ABC. Why?
Matthew lawyer. That's it.
Okay. That was it.
I will show you.
Say opese ofra so ubetimi idea afre. The number near 07538969589. You could so ye can call. Time no aka 7 minutes pe. Enti se obefra na wama ohu aye ha. Because time neso na ye de fidie no ye de to so pepepepa ye kɔ yanim. Anya dia ofre ya obenya e. What's it? This tune is serious. Serious pa. What's it? Kwasi ato yanko to ayeda. What you want us to be a na tofo ana akonkwa akodo. Udim kwakro fa so siye. Hwe. Enti wi ase ne de wo awo anu abo bra wo no mo ani abre. Na also what they are fame na just say oh fight it because nobody can fight your battles for you. You know. And you know, untimi emblem obi. Yes. You just have to keep fighting sanity. And you know, opese ofra number no 07538 969 589. You go so care call. And it's opese ofra by all means. This is the time to call. Sanity was in your serious. Yanko try na. Yes, I know it's a careful na mabano muntie niye pa. Say amount 60 days notice ni amount 30 days notice say babika visa man. The whole idea of applying for asylum no personally made my view no wrong. It be give you temporary protection and I say temporary timeline. But one thing that people have to realize, they say, Kromwa, the more you are doing bogus applications, you know, the more likely to say your immigration record. Now we'll say, you know, it's very, very careful. Because so kotolo ye binu catch yourself apply for asylum. Busani say asylum any say. Because countries which is Ghana, Nigeria, forget it. Because asylum yenjuindi automatically obwa. Until the infantry teams are because a safe country, a country a mujo. And I say a country can say your life will be a danger. And you can apply for asylum at some point, you know, your asylum application is going to be refused. Urban is also you are building a bad immigration record for yourself. So as someone too now we be now because of bad immigration record, you know, now you be is being questioned. And you know, I say you're very, very careful. I was hard and hope. Among for who you be very careful. Or no lawyer now come no say apply for asylum. No no jini sika o. Una also immigration record. ATM find ya ahwiye pa. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon to you. Patrodi ni sana kase free.
Good afternoon. Patrodi your friend me Spawn, me kase free Cardiff.
Obo from Cardiff, yanko.
Yeah. Lawyer Panga.
Yes sir.
Good job, good job.
Yako ya ni yabo ju.
Good job onko. Yeah.
Perfect.
If I some more quick one, be say maybe your background idea. A quick one be concerning KLM visa transit, you know.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Me because it's been a bit of confusion amongst minima day, but sir, I don't know. I read something about it. Say KLM for the Omabia to say war. That what me for KLM whilst you not get out. The person was when you a bit of information about it, and I say,
I mean, following Brexit, you know, so get a British passport, you don't have a problem.
That's right.
Oh, you can travel through on transit and without any problem. But so get a Ghana passport, I do too quiet. And you need a transit visa.
With KLM still now.
Yes, you need a transit visa. Then they don't go and take any risk.
Yeah.
And so it's a British passport, next Ghana passport. Who do British passport actually? We need problem. You know, because you are British national, you are European, or you are part of the agreement or more, you know, following our exit from the European Union. But so it's
but now the Americans say, also from 28th of June. Only KLM in America found when you had that flight. The Okra, limited leave to remain or her. Or obey me after KLM without getting out. And no. Now, kind of don't go for so. Now, because they must be away near there. But they're near through there. Because Nipa, you be aqua. Our money have problems.
Yes.
At the end of the day, they were able to go and come back.
Yes.
From Cardiff to Amsterdam.
Yes.
And you know, as you say, I'm saying, and yet, said, okay, you're advisable because the only anymore, I'm saying, Obama was one, I share my brain to it out.
Who say internet is so? I are very deceiving. Why am I saying this? I can put something on the internet in 2020. 2020, no, near European Union more. And it's a problem, no, anyone more. And to your mistake, now could read you know and now. What can be say, Sana edasote. Ebusane outdated information. So, and it's a who read Bibiana, I have tried to date, you know, a very, very important.
2025 year, June, almost from February 20, June 2024, and it started here. That was the date.
I'm when you're careful because I doubt it very much. Because as we speak, Ukraino, say so get a European passport, over Britain, you will need a visa.
Yeah.
I'm introducing Italy, Salimania, mano. And you know, and yes, so reciprocal. The same thing is going to happen to us. Now, almost 30 dates, you know. Now, almost machines name koi, and almost postpone way. And it's okay to third party passport. And the okra do your worst. And you know, I'm for you careful. Our advice is say, oh, just go and get a transit visa or a Schengen visa to cover your back. Because you could do a normal frustrate you, then you pay 3 more on train. And airlines, sometimes they have their own policies. You see, because airline go because okay, fair enough. What do Amsterdam? But the fact that you are still in the airline, because it's a transit, you know, it be a 5 hours, it be a 30 minutes, it be a 1 hour, and you will still be, you will not come out of the plane. So it's a bit dependent the type of translator in the panel air, you know. And also so ever come and also another point.
Very true there because this guy no to me no more train no man no almost say you bet me watch there you be you know we bet you have to take it for fraud there. You be more the next morning, which happened. But Oba, you know, baby 6 months and they found they're not wanting to give it to him back. The problem,
you are going to have problems, and you know, I would suggest you know, just I mean the thing is, if at all possible, just go direct flight. Now they are considering free because the whole idea of transit, me personally, it puts me off. It take you off of now what's up for now we see now over who's rabbit who nyame na bomba is rabbit family from boko play for the easy o yakuku drone ya defro David share play for enya chance na ebetu na say yese ne kosru say ya na fe ba from wuru yem nyina na chance e bompa ye brade if am go through boko David
school ask me what I say
yeah that was it yeah bekasa I hope so be away bye hello Pacho, one day can say.
Oh, lawyer Dakun Jaisa.
Oh, say lawyer Dakun Jaisa. Anyway, there, Michael, British accent abo. If you say British accent or 2 or chance, British accent to be free. I say British accent. He say, "Obe London, British accent aba." Say ya.
Lawyer.
British accent here, can I say?
Ready at my poem to say.
Nyankopon adom ene mo mpaebo na obi ka na sem edru Saturday say ya na ya fema me boatema. Hey, ebi ase. Nipo baby ko pa. Banyame ho obi.
Yamisha ne wa futu ana pe wori aba. Ya mi fi night aban so me se me na ma tonkum kakra. Na ma pejam me na ma sorry. Because it's very important.
Yes.
Yamisha ni da wonya da joya. No de be fi di so be che ni ama.
Yeah.
Yamisha.
That was it.
Na me hu papa bi e papa no wa ha no.
Oh.
Me nyanko for me Scottish for one person in Ghana for the holidays.
Everybody. No.
Wait, I must have an American tree.
I can it.
One person woman in the call. Now, unsa ukuta Scottish passport ni British passport ni na there back is the same UK.
Sape pepe.
Na me yes me kwakwaji.
Ghana visa.
Me pese me body na won be.
Okay.
Na nipa miensa na eti adase a kire na chese omu kwesa omu kwakwaji no. Chese they would get fed up.
Okay.
Na minim se we no me kasa wo monye wo online betimi aye. Na wo mu konkoji wo betimi akwakwaji I don't know.
Okay.
But maybe sa will say wo yes adwuma no so anafa ne say obi pese oji ye krom e de e wo ni
meet me abo boy.
Good. That's all I need.
Who say sebe obi can sing bi SL life is worth knowing people who are worth knowing.
Yeah.
Now, anyone can assassin, bringing a can assassin with you.
Okay.
Okay, na me say akwe you rude papa. Sana make an only 3 more. I say I didn't say okasasa. Na me dey kwa dwindwini mu no. And the moon say our point. Enti wiase no, unu obi sign. Na so ni akro ni so beba mfaso ama na say no so mfaso a. Koso neni ni ndi ni ye na da che bebo a. Adena make assassin we. Obi be hu me this week. Na oka me ahintasem ema me hu dwere me. Obaye wo se David Dako. Na se no si bom me din no, na be ma hye no. Me se na kwa be ni, se no si bom me din dia so ni me pa. Wo se I know you 24 years ago. And I'm saying what? Also when you were doing your attachment with the Nigerian lady at Brixton, I do remember. Brixton Academy, I want to know me boy, Miss Yampa. What's my wife? Your friend is saying, when I boy, Mam Kofa, me buy, me boy. I feel me drum Kennedy, or my wife will be and I saw me your Kofa, me baba, is the same by the power, yes. No, Bonnie Benedine. What's me bunny buy, ne visa de buy, ne indefinite leave to enter. Or co credit college, see indefinite leave to enter, na enti of course now oye no omu manager and I will see there be indefinite leave to enter any indefinite leave to remain the same now udi free outside the bar and I enter now uti inside the there remain enti the omo can omo ye wrong ema wo no omo twin ema omo ma wo time ema wo ko home office ema omo change visa no ama akra na ko school sisi akra wa ye nurse me si me gina ho da me ho adwire me ana me se hwe enipa yi aka minini shiaye anaka midini boni bia hwe 24 years later hwe maningu ase enti ewiase die unu obi dili a hunyansa nenya adwene ese me mfa boni bi enkodi mi nua because when you could do nua come are serious oh it will catch up with you in so many different levels and in so many different ways. Enti wiase no unu obi dili a ye adepa ye asempa ne nkrofo nka wo ho nsempa gise okwasieto wona bedi nsemhunu na ebo ni dimponi na opese enipa bo ndimpa
na kai say me ko ye me Ghana passport. I wasn't able to control my temper. Time. Yeah, when we were Ghana embassy one. Oh, Jesus Christ. Time, Papa. Time. Share what you honor. They are between one. A book in the year to come over outside. Now, what you no, just say. Yeah, when we were Ghana, we are better to chrome. The year me British passport and I buy me compare me once. A dinner was a make sure and me year mistake in your middle name and famba. She didn't see ye. The way we to find out by now could do criminal said. The singing pan BBS and Umbra no about said there be me. But you met catch us said there be a dinner woman and you complete one wedding you. Men party tis and biala, men poho biala. Messiah Quaco yebi. Lawyer, with me see him do 1 week. And I'm catch you 6 days. But the idea no call Thursday. It's a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, na passport na dama be punye Any 1 week.
Yeah.
It's I don't know a different world and now say one would dear a chess a ye day na ye krum kwa passport konusa. There's no Wi-Fi.
What I was saying is
oh come on.
What I was saying is sometimes we are also part of the problem.
Okay.
The citizens.
Okay.
Ghana for yempe procedure.
All right.
So the procedure to say na momfa so a na obi person categories na e create more confusion.
Okay.
Enti no yeso so no 77 yesi utu ekurefo no na utu okra so fo. Ye ya kasa so no aya ye ni process so. Se ka se book appointment a membu ketem nemfa wo pe enkotena ho no because so yes na the way they are supposed to work they cannot work that way.
Where do you book appointment to?
They can say
online also.
They can say who are you obi enye enti sa onya kro na wanye no na odi ni musu e ba be odi ba be se wo de.
Yeah,
that is the problem. Your private office ABC dey be am kontokwa. Who book appointment, no be a big enough for so I want to speak to lawyer. So don't you want me to speak to lawyer? Meanwhile, we are going for Scotland, I bet na menim. Minja wo na big enough for so no be nin komo.
Let's say what dear, some media will carry me wrong. And I know it from hold on, mammy be so, mammy trow, and then mammy be so kakra. Yay, Yehovah, and said to the baby, I can say, the mammy cried and go through my pay. But there's no chance.
It's one of those things. And yes, so a dream be a tea or masaka cry na follow process. Said ya also betting your majuni or majume. Says me no okay. Obit Emras will be free. 1 year from me and my applications are or did 10 years of Kakoji indefinite. Se de oye ajiman
oye ajiman
ano de komo obi no nya krokoye o te woni actual letter say application na waye no waye wrong application the application ne ho aba asem o free officer o de ti asem mo kan o say o free lawyer because when ya email a free home office say application na ye de buy ye no tie de kan you ye de buy ye no e ye wrong application one ka say ono ko an application no
lawyer da ko de no mistake
wa ka sem no te say de lawyer da ko na ye application no enti me secretary eti information also okay odi dey say ana o sha say o check ana say the last time ye application ma we 2022 enti no 2.5 years national ko indefinite one farmer enti e dey na ye fault o so man kan sa ade a o kan so me ti you
first one that we hear man second one we hear man and the fourth one na training ni pa training no e fa hin na fe de e was say otime ko baby obi ono we fiase for the first 2.5 years wayama
unfortunately
second time wayama third one wayama what is your problem
say ebi mu fi say yankoto a yetimi da mane yi ba yankoto a ye na wo say afena ne minimum wo so a ne ho wo so gidi a all pamacho say ni enti enesati dey say mejima ho me no na ejuma na mde kwa ya ama no na when a positive etia na ne bu afu me no I say what ejuma we bi ntimi nye me pack ejuma kan bi beji no
sometimes I don't me send ya men kan eto de bia obi say binimunyansa e wo fine me ade me de bia me kan me catch them me kun de bia me catch them say lawyer dabu onu ekutu na esi won mo jina so na wo so na ekutu na esi
na titi say taba that's right
nti wo sha asha na ukita career back no yi back what me count me say no be some say is the man of disability and I say possibility
do the best that you can
say woni nipa nan utimi hia nipa no na utimi hu nipa na bra boss ti say asimesi we die ade we dey achisa asimesi ya okay say mbra wo me say mbra interview what you ask me ka tell then me you back when I was sorry
what's up from paper
why go interview me what damn me interview that was it I said man calm down I told you be me a card yesterday but now you bring some more because me kai sa that time no na nya sama edefo now so won sama wo ka e bia wo kan na me machine wo kan British passport and super penny British passport so but sheni ye wie ya shen sama be de kwa so Bronis make hay
what's the sign sisi am no ka say unim say me client bi me kan e kan wanye sisi am no kan ni ho aba asem o de fiase o friend me efi fiase I nearly cried was a lawyer my big mistake and I'm say ade I said na sama atuina o ka kire me ogina phone so no so and I'm say we are aware say efiase no ufi ho ba edu be kofi was a lawyer o me kan ka kire me dada now before this crano you told me ss me British passport asem mpupa anasa asem to nyame ekromu ani entimi nyame hwe aso den me scan the ticket me ko Ghana ma kwa ba 5 times me nyame indefinite 5 years today and he dey out me big mistake huge I don't know how I can recover from this
but
I didn't see any board thing. Serious crowd, serious. Share papa be phrases here. Or see COS. Ye can't impim any impim edunsia. And no crane boy yedion. Bibini benye sika de akwa kotos hade no. Na o kwa kwa British citizenship. Na say impim ye numpo na wudua. E de na ne boy yedi. Yedi nam na yi na mo. Sebe sa wan to kodo na sa wan to net so a wan to net a oye de kopodo it's impossible enti e de nam and the yinam sa na wi asenete enti wa woni ambre na sa wan pe enti me de mebo hu de wura say sebe aya na obi se media menya criminal media menya ni pabonini hwe ewiase esan wo ho obitimi ni san bi san wo ebi akoto won sa na nipa na twa hwe no wo yeso wakum nipa ebi akoto won sa na akobo obi na bibi akosi yesisin enti no very very important to say ni many bi wo a yeso yesi very careful na yetu certain anamo bi because say hwe woman bi behu me about 3 years ago unim say o twika ana oba bi oba onyim wasa akono monsa ana oba na oba cross room ayi ana ka ni kobo oba no ana oba ni nya fe ni say pray at the cry first or force after the yes say your friend is saying what driver without due diligence and attention it you know what you can no e be your fault you don't go to prison for 6 months now the boy and they say no get a British passport and to meet the British passport you cannot tell me anything sure who need the American can me say you
it is say who can KLM but in cafe mon my madrid say me for KLM if you me for British airline cafe mum na because we share online na cheaper
cheap cheap
I feel my madrid say me for KLM me say obi can am say
me pesa how no me dey say minister na me ntu kran no ana British Airways so nya to wase na target na wo hwe sales omoya na so turn on time you get a very good deal.
Okay.
So enti no omoye sales we dey me ba be bosso na one piece butu kwan wetin ya target
because
the whole idea say ba ko si ba bi say no ato aso na say aya ni na ye how because ni mo bi a okọ Ghana it taking me 3 days to get to Ghana it taking me 3 days to come back. 6 days is wasted because of transit.
Okay.
Because of cheap ticket. Now wa pay be papa no you are going to obi na ho na mi na yo
wo ma sorry ya wo so wo nem be kwajema me nem wan kwajema airport won ye ma obi anye adwuma kofo na ni abre afede ye de wo de ko da mi say no why when you ko tentra me ya say
ami eye good da be no be so mo ko
me na me che me pesa be kan work brofum say wo pesa wo adwuma na wo say wo
mere wo beje mere wo adwuma
henti say won etimi so ma me say afi ye ma wo kwan say satan because me share no na November bo so me no mo na cheap kakra nti me share
okay no problem to the visa seminar a chiro betimi aframe ni edi hu ko na me hu kwara me fa so aboa wo mo wan any big deal process no say if the thing is say Ghana Commission over the right process mo you will not have a problem and a visa je ne kra no they don't need to go to the embassy and I can tell you there's a process abetimi afa so a hu nya so be ko embassy ho everything can be done through the post.
Okay.
Why? Ain't any big deal, cry. That's all more out. Why?
All right. Okay.
And to the say, I'm taking it easy. Be okay.
All right.
Why?
Okay. Almost a woman called and teachers a woman. Yeah,
aye. Okosa no. Okosa.
Did you show? I'm sure you to be no show. Mom, did that guy from dinner? Oh, we have to go.
Aye. Nice, you know, yen to Ghana so. Na obviously ni Ghana. Because you see how Ghana no, every of spend this guy, be created no Ghana ni. So until now they try to promote Ghana.
All right. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you very much. Bye bye for now. Yes, let me see a time now. 1:21 time now. Echo krama na broso. Enti no message me die no ye di besia na ye di nyame agya mu nyina. Yada mu nyina mo so ase esema da je na mo de tie the voice of legal reasoning David Darkham of Justice and Law Solicitors 35B 49 Efra Road Brixton London SW2 1BZ. Your telephone number 0207 993 5976. Sasuna ubitimi afre on 07538 969 589. Yada mu nyina mo ase ese motie die yede ebramo person betini akọ your website, which is www.justiceandlawsolicitors.com. Betini akọ hono. Yedi nyame jobia nyame enhira mu nyina nyame enya mokese na onka mo ho yeda masipi yebesa ayede akọ ama de bososo ese moye no makọ akoye no ene enti yafa nwumi ensa enye de emfa wi program yi na nwumi emese aye amanfo de pa eye ochiami kofi ana e release sa nwumi na enwum no utie na afem aba eboawo mano esi de nyame jamu nyina.
And now we decide, yeah, many be a man. A fadia, my time for a man. What you know, also, we see how we will be sat. As soon as we know about the Galam say, or who I say, yeah, bring it to prove. You're slow, and so yeah, need a shame yourself. If you say, I can't travel by you, really good. I am no crack for that, depending on one and so Pamwa. With the idea, your dada, the extra dear saying at this Lenoir. Papa, yes, I won't pay you my Anna, and oh. Me wa obe mu na fo eye ka kwem ni ye tudo onkwan de wo sami ameni ko basiato ayo say am right basiato ayo say am right basiato ayo say am right basiato ayo say am
The best time to get into commercial real estate was yesterday. The second best time is today.
What is commercial property? There are 5 main types. I'm going to talk to you about some of them.